I want to talk about the fundamentals of researching and interviewing for cybersecurity / information technology roles. I want to discuss three things. I want to discuss what you should have on your resume, just some key topics you should have on your resume. How you find jobs and internships, and also how you prepare for an interview in this field. So my background, I've interviewed with Amazon, Stellantis, Department of Defense, and Google. Currently, I am gonna be interning at Google this summer. And then previously, I worked at Hub Schools as in the IT department as a IT tech assistant. So first off, I want to discuss the resume. So there's multiple things you can put on a resume, but I just wanted to highlight the most important aspects of a resume. First off, your experience. It doesn't have to be work experience. If you do, that's great, but if you don't, you can briefly summarize what at-home project or at-home extracurricular learning you've done. For example, let's say you wrote an application, you can put that on your resume and say, hey, I wrote an application to open programs in Python. Or, hey, I learned how to set up a firewall through PF sets. So it doesn't have to be work experience. It's more of how have you divulged into this field on your own. Also, you can put as experience that you were in clubs or organizations. For example, you could put that you were in IASA during college. The next things you would want to put on your resume and certifications. So nowadays, industry-wide, they look at certifications. Certifications are very important in this field. I listed some very popular certifications below, which is CCNA Security, CompTIA A+, and CompTIA Security Plus. Now, there are tons of certifications. I just listed some. And not only the certifications are important, but the training is just as important. So I recommend putting down where you did the training at. For example, did you go through Netacad or did you take test out courses? And list the name of the courses you took. Also, education. Did you get your associate's, bachelor's, master's, PhD? Basically, what degrees do you have? That's another important aspect of a resume. So just for example, this is my personal resume. If you look on the top right, I got my education and I listed in detail about all about the where I got it, when did I graduate, and what type of degree do I have. And then if you look on the lower left, you could see my internships. Now, a key aspect in this section is I briefly described some projects I worked in. Now, this is very important because when you go for a job, companies want to know what kind of stuff you've done in the past. So you want to list. You don't have to go as detailed as I did, but the more the better. So just briefly list what kind of tasks have you done in that job. Lastly, skills and abilities. Here, I just listed out all the courses that I've took in high school and college, like regarding cybersecurity. This is important too because it lets the interviewers know what you know, and that is very important. Now, the next section I want to talk about is job finding. How you find job posting that fits for you. So qualities you should look for in a job posting. There are 4 qualities: qualifications, basic, advanced qualifications, like what kind of what criteria is the job looking for. Now, responsibilities, what does the job entail? What will you be doing? Benefits they will give you. And then also another important thing is the company background. Is the company reputable in the field? Now, some job searching websites. So we all know LinkedIn and Indeed. Basically, they are websites with that have job postings on there, and you can actually create a profile and upload your resume, and some companies might even reach out to you through the website to apply for a certain job. And then but personally, my favorite way of searching for a job is Google search. This is how I got 2 internships offers through the Department of Defense and the internship offer through Google. So if you see at the bottom, I these are some of the key terms I search for. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but I just search for example, best cybersecurity internship summer 2022. There's many websites out there that will give you a running list on the best programs in the world for this field. And you'd be amazed for what kind of opportunities there are out there. So I really like Google searching. That is how I got my internship offers. And then also, another way is looking through company websites. Basically, if you have a favorite company, you can go on there under employment. For example, let's say you like Amazon, you can search up on Google Amazon internship programs, and then they might or might not have a program that fits towards you. So now the last topic I want to talk about is interviewing, how you prepare for an interview, because interviewing is very important with with this process. So there's 2 types of questions. Basically, most companies will ask you behavioral and technical. Now, how you prepare for these questions is basically what I do is make a document and list everything you know. So for example, technical questions are based on yes or no questions, and behavioral questions are more tailored to how you look at a situation and how you resolve a situation. And I will provide some example questions in the upcoming slides. But basically on this slide, what I want to talk about is when you make the document for behavioral questions, what I do is I list what kind of situations have I been put in the past and what was the result, what kind of goals do I have. Also, another thing is research the company before going to an interview. For example, what type of goals do they have? What type of products do they have? And then technical questions, basically make a Word document and write down everything you know and that will be important to the job. Now, here are some behavioral questions as examples. Usually you know when it's a behavioral question when it says, tell me of a time. For example, tell me of a time when you had an altercation at work and how did you solve the problem? Or tell me of a time when you went above and beyond. Now, these are not yes or no questions. These questions are open-ended. And how you go about solving these problems is using the STAR format, which I will get to in the upcoming in a couple slides. But basically right here, I just want to give you some examples on what type of questions they're going to be asking you in an interview for behavioral questions. So just remember, behavioral questions are questions more tailored to how you think and how you go about solving a problem. Now, technical questions is more tailored towards the job. Now, these are just some generic questions. These might not be even asked. It's just dependent on what the job entails. So for example, what is encryption? Why is it important? The difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Now, what I would do is I would write a document and just list out every question you could think about. And I'm sure on Google, if you type in most common cybersecurity job questions, there's going to be a list and there's going to be answers on them. So I make a document and just study that document before going into the interview. Now another thing is the STAR format. So when I was talking about the behavioral questions, in my opinion, are pretty tough and you can get lost easily. And so STAR format is here to help you out. So it's an acronym for situation, task, action, and result. Situation. What was the situation? Task. What was the task required to complete the situation? Action. What actions did you take to complete this task? And result. What was the result of this action? Now, these 4 things will help you answer these questions because you don't want to make your answer too long nor too short. In behavioral questions, I would say it's quality of how the question was over time. Interviewers, it doesn't matter how long or short it is. It's just how you phrased it, and this will help you how you phrase behavioral questions. Now, lastly, I want to say when going to an interview, always be positive, no matter the outcome. Always be the hero because interviewers are always looking for positive people and people who are driven to learn. And then that concludes my presentation.